Hello, hello. It's time for training today. And today I chose the topic of nurturing and self-care using food. As the temperatures are changing in my part of the world, I find myself wanting like warming foods. And it's a great opportunity to kind of raid your freezer and be creative with whatever you might have that you can throw together a meal. And like for instance, today, yesterday I took out frozen stock and I baked a squash, and I have leftover, what's it called? Coconut milk. And I browned some turkey sausage. And so when I'm done with this, I'm going to go make lunch, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take the stock, and I'm going to first of all cook the lentils, and then I'm going to add chopped up squash and some meat and see what that feels like. I have some frozen spinach. I may toss in some spinach. It just depends. And then season it perhaps with some cumin and coriander and things like that. Those are just yummy spices for this time of year, in my opinion. So that's so easy. Like, I made the stock a while ago. Taking it out of the freezer is super duper easy. And baking a squash is just as easy. It's just like, how can you take what you already have and make a good, wholesome, nutritious meal that supports you in this season of change, but it's nutritious, it's supportive, it's not full of all of the salts and all the junk that you find in a canned soup, for instance. So I'm going to challenge you to be creative with what you have. Another idea that I do is sometimes during the season I will shred zucchini and shred carrots and then cut up some onion, and I will saute all that, and then I'll freeze them into that's not even how much would I say was in there? Maybe a half a cup. I put them in a little Ziploc and I make it flat and I put it in the freezer. And that's so easy to toss into the soup because you don't even have to thaw it out. It just thaws out in the hot soup. And it's also good to take out, like if you want to add it into an omelet or even scrambled egg, a frittata, things like that. There's so many shortcuts that you can do when you're already doing something. Like you're cutting up an onion for a recipe and you've got leftover onion. Well, cut them all up and then it's done. And you can saute them all together and then just freeze the portion. And then you've got the extra onion when you're making spaghetti sauce or you're making the chili or whatever. I mean, there's so many ways to make life easier for you when you're in a hurry or you're not in the mood to cook. I mean, that happens, right? You just want someone to feed you, and that someone may not ever be there. I don't know what your life is like, but it's really important to stay nutritionally sound and support I call it your sacred vessel. Support your sacred vessel with good food. And you have control over that when you think ahead just a little bit, just this much. Like I said, you've got leftover this or that, freeze it. I once had a friend, we went to a retreat together and shared a cabin, and I had like a piece of sausage that was not like that big. It was literally that big. And I didn't toss it, and I didn't force myself to eat it. And the next morning I cut it up really small and I tossed it in with the scrambled eggs, and he was like, okay, in my family, that would have been, one of us would have forced down eating that, or we would have thrown it away. And I'm like, why? It's like, it just added that little bit of the flavor into that egg, and it was delicious. So just be creative. And yeah, and then something else I took out of the freezer, because I've been not in the mood to cook, was cauliflower fried rice. And I had in there I had leftover sausage, and I had just put little pieces in that, and that flavor was obviously still in the fried rice. So And with fried rice, you can add all these wonderful things. And if you still want to kick it up a notch with protein, you can scramble an egg and mix it all together. So there's so many great ways to support your body with good food and maximize your dollar and maximize your time and effort. Like, as long as you're cutting it up, finish cutting it up. Don't put it all back in the fridge and then you're not in the mood to do it. I also embellish frozen pizza. So I'll buy a pizza and then I will saute onion, usually always onion for sure, but onion, mushroom, I've put zucchini on, cut that up and saute all that, all three or one or whatever. And I also really like, and I learned this in Germany, to slice an apple really, really thin. And so, what did I call that? I've got to go, no, I had a really cute word for that. I got to go design or paint. I think I said paint. I have to go paint my pizza. I start with the apple, and then I put the vegetables on, and then I added Kalamata olives. Oh my God, so good. Just look at the flavors in that, right? You've got cheese and you've got sweet onion and you've got the salt from the olive and then the sweet from the apple, a different kind of sweet. So there's all kinds of ways. Go and saute some onions and then have them on hand for whatever you're going to do. Another idea is, I had forgotten about this, but it came up in my Facebook memories. I'd gone to a little restaurant in a small little college town, and I had a sauteed vegetable sandwich. And what they had done is they had sauteed sweet pepper with onions and then taken the bread and put guacamole on. No, yeah, they did. I added the guac. They had pesto. So pesto and then the vegetables, and then I just added the avocado. Oh my God, like seriously. There's so many ways that you can eat well, and it's easy and it's not expensive. So as we head into the end of November here toward Thanksgiving, keep that kind of creativity in mind, because of course there's always leftovers come Thanksgiving. So I hope you found value in this, and let me know if there's a topic that interests you, and I'm happy to address that. Bye-bye.